A lot of times you hear people talking about Jim Crow laws.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
were Democrats. And it's so funny to hear the Democrats and today talk about Jim Crow laws. And it's like, well, it was your party that established the Jim Crow laws.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our channel, The Three of Pentacles. We are three tarot card readers. My lovely soul sisters of the Woo, Lynn and Kyla.
Hi,
Hi, everybody.
everyone.
And again, don't mind me. My name is Barbara. I have my light shining on my, there's not a light shine, it's
Your
just the
third
background.
eye is open.
My third eye
Okay.
is open, baby. So, yes, we have three tarot card readers. We like to read on world events, but we also do regular readings as well online and in person. So if anybody needs us, just reach out to us. We do not reach out to you. Our videos are for entertainment purposes only. I'm only going to say that once. Serious. So, and we'd like to welcome you all to the end of our Black History Month series. This is the next to the last video that you're going to see. The last video is going to be Harriet Tubman. And the reason why we're keeping her for last, the best for last, because her birthday is on March the 11th. So I guess I could say that her birthday is on March
Yep.
11th. So we're going to be getting around to Miss Harriet Tubman because she's an important person. And so tonight we're going to be discussing the first African American Black congressman. And let me tell you, you all, if you don't know, you're gonna know in this video. You're gonna know about these guys. The first Black members of U.S. Congress. I had absolutely no idea until Lynn brought this up. And thank you, Lynn, for this whole Black Month series and having the idea to bring that up.
You're welcome.
And, Blacks were always active in politics even before slavery. Slavery ended in 1865, right? And that wasn't too long ago. So by the time 1870 came around, these fellows were already in Congress. So they hit the ground running. The 15th Amendment, which is from 1870, I believe, was the right of citizens of the United States to vote, and they shall not be denied on account of race or color. But still, at the time, only white men and Black men could vote. Not even the white women could vote at that time.
Right.
By 1871, there were 7 Black men serving in the United States Congress. So you see the picture right there. Now, I just say this because I had absolutely no idea. This is going to surprise you all. The Republican Party was formed as an anti-slavery party and also to reduce taxes, to promote small businesses, which would have benefited a lot of slaves. It would have given the Black men the right to vote. Now that's the Republican Party, and it wouldn't have made it wouldn't have made much sense for any Black to be a Democrat at that time, would it?
Nope.
So
Mhm.
that's why a lot of Blacks were Republicans at that time because that's how it was born. Now, does it make sense to be a Democrat at this time in 2025? That's your question to answer. We're going to play a little piece of a video just to introduce the first Black members of the U.S. Congress. And by the way, again, they were all Republicans.
We got it on fast forward, so.
In 1870, the Mississippi State Legislature appointed Howard Rebels to the United States Senate to fulfill the vacancy left by Jefferson Davis, who had gone on to become president of the Confederacy. Howard Rebels is said to have worked quietly and persistently, and he was praised for his oratorical abilities. Benjamin Turner was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1870, representing the 1st Congressional District in Selma, Alabama. He only served one term, complaining that the Republicans in his district did not support him, even though he was voting for the restoration of political and legal rights for Confederate soldiers. It's also interesting that in 1870, the U.S. Census said he was worth $10,000. That's $200,774.05 in today's market. Not bad for a former slave. Robert Carlos DeLarge was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1870, representing the 2nd District of South Carolina. He only served one term. He was unseated in 1873 due to alleged abuses and irregularities. Josiah T. Walls was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1870, representing Florida's 2nd Congressional District. He served a total of 6 years. That's 3 terms, and that was a success for those early African American congressmen. After leaving Congress, he became the farm director at what is now Florida A&M University. Jefferson F. Long was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1870, representing Georgia's 4th Congressional District. He served only one term due to the undermining efforts of the Georgia Republican Party. That's the claim, and it's not hard to believe. After his congressional term, he returned to his tailoring business in Macon, Georgia. Joseph H. Rainey was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1870, representing South Carolina's 1st Congressional District. He served a total of 8 years. That's 4 terms, and that is excellent. After leaving Congress, he was appointed a federal agent of the U.S. Treasury Department for the Internal Revenue in South Carolina. Robert Brown Elliott was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1870, representing South Carolina's 3rd Congressional District. He served a total of 4 years. That's 2 terms. He resigned from Congress in 1874, went back to South Carolina to work in state politics. Interestingly enough, when he was in the United States House of Representatives, he was described as the first genuine African in Congress, as the rest of them were mixed race. He was born and educated in England and was apparently very intelligent, but he chose to come to the United States as a young man to live out his life. So this is the class of 1870. At least 4 of them were born into slavery, and all of them were Republicans. The question is why?
Now, the Republican Party, again, was formed to basically free the slavery. It was an anti-slavery party, reducing taxes, promote small businesses. And that would have given a lot of African Americans a chance to build businesses, and they did. They did, actually. They built businesses, and what else did they build? They just got very, very successful. They were teachers, they were business owners.
They did everything.
They did everything. They traveled until, now I may get this wrong now, until the presidential election came in with, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name, but I'll put his name.
Oh.
I'll put his name in. There were 2 people that were running for president. And at that time, the Republicans and the Democrats had to make some type of a deal. And they did. But the Democrats wanted the South again. So they won the South because they wanted to keep their holds over the Black people.
Yes, how they handled
how they handled it. And they did. And that's when the Blacks went down once more. So here, look at this. The 15th Amendment. Can you go back to that one, Lynn? The 15th Amendment? Yeah, the 15th Amendment was made for the right to vote for Black men. The Republicans voted 100%. The Democrats voted 0%. Now, of course, the Democrats have changed these days, and some people say, hey, they've switched because, they flip everything. So maybe that's what happened. We're going to pin this video underneath. It says whites regain control of Southern governments. And that's what I was talking about. That was when they made a deal between the Republicans and the Democrats. And it says, look, we'll let your Republican become president, but we want the South again. We want to regain control over the Southern governments. And that's when they formed KKK, that they founded in 1866, the secret societies and all these things, right? And you could see that picture there.
Yeah.
And you can see that picture. It's a little unfortunate to look at it in 2025, but that's part about history. So it's quite shocking for me.
And just to mention this, a lot of times you hear people talking about Jim Crow laws.
Yeah.
Those were Democrats. And it's so funny to hear the Democrats and today talk about Jim Crow laws. And it's like, well, it was your party that established the Jim Crow laws.
Bring down the Black African again, to basically bring them back into slavery and segregate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, really sad.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if you're watching this video and you really don't believe what we're saying, you can go and vet it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're tarot card readers, but we're also thinkers. We have critical thinking. We're women. Kaila is a mother, so she has children to take care of. So she has to try to think outside the box as much as possible. So we're not just tarot card readers. We live a regular life, and
we're
we
trying
ask
to
questions.
Bring out maybe our true history too. This is,
we want you. I feel like even the last few years, I think truth, like there's so many things that are right there, but for some reason in the mainstream, they twist everything. And there's so much untruth that people are just picking up. They're just running with it. So
well, and the other thing is too, is people believe if it's coming from that little black box in your living room, they must be telling me the truth, just the same as if it's printed in black and white. Those newspapers are telling you the truth. And well, my teacher told me this, so this must be the truth. Just because your teacher told you that, that's the curriculum this person is given to teach you. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean you don't go off and do your own research. We've handed off our responsibilities for what we learn to other people, and we expect them
to the media, to those in authority, and that's just sad.
Time to take it back and start doing your own research, everybody, please.
Yeah, we've discredited common sense.
Because if you say something and it makes sense and it's logical and you can bring up some scientific proof, and someone says, "Oh, I don't want to hear that," It's like, well, if you don't want to hear it, just, take a look for yourself. We're not here to argue or anything like that, but just take a look for yourself, because it's just common sense. Common sense. So that's what we're here for. We're here to have fun and pull cards with some friends, but at the same time, and friends and sisters. But at the same time, we like to talk about things that are on our hearts and on our minds, and get you all to thinking as well. That's our job. That's what we do.
Mhm.
So I don't know, did we want to pull cards or anything on this? So did we just want to just
Well, let's do an overall poll. Is there truth and integrity that these gentlemen were actually the first African American representatives in the federal Congress and Senate of the United States? Were they all Republicans?
okay.
Let's verify.
Kaila, you want to pull? See, you probably have a better light there than
I
I
Working
can
do.
on
go
it.
ahead while you all chat a little bit more. So the
Yeah,
question
yeah.
is truth and integrity, true. The fact that these were the
seven,
first
yeah,
African American congressmen and they were Republican.
senators. Yep, and that they
Yes.
were
Let's take a look.
Republican. Yep.
And by the way, while you're shuffling, I looked at one of those fellas, because there were like 7 of them, right?
Yep.
I think it was the 4th one. I'm not really sure. If you notice, he had his hand in his jacket like this, and I was
I
like,
was wondering about that too.
I don't know about that one,
And for people that
because
know, that is a Masonic symbol sign.
I mean,
I
it
saw
does
that too. Yeah.
it does raise some red flags, like with all of that happening in history.
Yep.
How come these were the chosen ones?
Yep.
You know, to be different.
All right, Kyla, what have we got here? Ooh.
So the question was, how did you frame it again? How did you?
Lynn, do you want to repeat? Because I kind of just went along with
It
what you
was
were
just
saying.
if there's truth and integrity to the fact that these gentlemen were actually the first representatives, were they Republican? So,
You know, I do get a bit of truth coming across because we have the King of Swords, we have the Queen of Swords just below, as if at least part of this whole story is true. But what strikes me is the Hierophant in the middle there. So to me, these were, yes, there is some truth to that, but there is an aspect of now the Hierophant can be a teacher, it can be somebody who's spiritual and so on. But there's also a negative aspect to this. When we're doing readings like this could mean those, ones behind the scenes pulling the strings kind of thing. And so what I'm getting is that they were, yes, they were appointed, but it's with the Hierophant in the background and with a specific purpose. So, like with every group, there's always a few that you can pull out and use towards a specific purpose. At least that's what I'm getting.
There's something in my gut that's telling me that some of them were infiltrated in implants.
could have been.
And that's
Well,
what I was
and
thinking.
it's interesting that there's only one that was actually not of mixed race, was completely African American. All the others have like indigenous, and I think I'm even going to say Caucasian, because I know one of them, it said the mother was Scottish ancestry, which down south there was a big, I believe there was a big Scottish, and there was a big German population down there too. But I think the races intermixed a whole lot more than we're aware of during that time too. But that's a whole other video.
To be considered Black,
You just had to
back
be,
in the day, you had to have like that one little drop, or you could be as white as snow.
Yeah.
And you have that one drop. But then again, there were people that were passing. So did they, it's a little, just like you said, it's a whole different video. I feel that there were some that were infiltrated, because what the bad players do is that they'll let you have what you need to have, but they have to put at least one of their people in there.
Mhm.
And that's what they did to a lot of the universities when they switched out, when the medical field changed over. And that we'll do a video on that too. We have some information to share about that as well. The biggest takeaway for me is that the Republican Party was formed as an anti-slavery party. That I had no idea. So I'm learning that. I'm sure a lot of people are learning that too. So whoever's watching the video, just comment down beneath and let us know what your takeaway from this video is. And if you want to add something to it, if you want us to do a video on another part of this or any other subject, let us know.
What are you thinking, Kyla? What was your
Yeah,
interpretation?
I agree with you all, and especially with what Barbara said about infiltrators, like with the Eight of Swords and the Ten of Cups. I'm getting that there is more to it that we're not seeing, and some of it is a bit of a facade. Yes, there is, as you said, there's some truth to it that these were, put in place as part of the Republican Party, trying to create something different. I can't remember your exact words, but there is a bit of something else missing there. There's some infiltration and there's a bit of a facade happening.
And it's
Yeah, and
interesting we have the Eight of Wands where they're originally supposed to be eight. I mean, I think, these guys were there, but were they placed? Yeah, I think they might have been placed. It was a wish come
yeah,
true because,
Mhm.
the newly freed slaves, free men, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
It was definitely their wish come true. And mind you, everybody, all of these gentlemen, some of them were actually free men to begin with. There's only a few of them that were actually slaves and that were freed after the Civil War too. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's definitely some manipulation, but they
Mhm.
were Republicans. I do believe with having the Wheel of Fortune and the Hierophant. I mean, I believe that's a yes as far as that goes. There was definitely fighting and infighting probably even within the Republican Party. So
I still don't believe everything
no.
face value with everything that we are hearing about them either. It's just,
No.
especially with the Eight of Swords and the Ten of Cups that we had. The Eight of Swords is
Yeah.
like you're holding something back, and
Mhm.
swords are thoughts and words. So there's some thoughts and words about the whole thing that they're just gonna say. And the Ten of Cups is like you said, a facade card. So it
Mhm.
all looks great. They're all sitting there. Oh yeah, we're the black
The figureheads.
Republicans and everything. But I wonder if they really got along, those guys.
Mhm.
If they, working with each other, some of them met each other. But anyway, really interesting. All right, excellent. Did you all want to do any clarifiers, or are you fine with it, or
Oh, well, yeah, Kyla, go ahead and pull a couple
Mhm.
clarifiers. Were they placed? Were they specifically placed for this reason?
The Emperor
Hmm,
and the Sun.
you got two
Mhm.
major
Shining light
arcana?
on some stuff. Yeah, I think we got that's kind of a good side. That kind of goes back to a whole other thing where, you got your white hats and your black hats because we know there's a lot of mystery behind Abraham Lincoln and his assassination and everything too. And so now we have the Hierophant and the pole, but now we were clarifying with the Emperor. I think it was some battling going on.
And some powerful males.
Yes. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Any more clarifiers, Barbara?
Do you have any more questions about it?
Think so. That
Let
was
me think.
interesting. I think this is probably pretty good for everybody to start chewing on and doing your own research. I mean, even Wikipedia, it's interesting. Is it this one? Yeah, you look at the first, let me pull this up here for you guys. This is a list. What I found interesting was, and I don't know if it's just because it's representatives, but they don't even list Hiram Revels, which I found interesting. But look how light skinned some are.
Mhm.
But as you keep going down, I mean, I wouldn't
Hmm.
necessarily thought this was
I
a
mean,
main color.
look at the third one, that one
Yeah,
right there,
yeah, yeah,
and the one
Mhm.
under him.
yep, yeah. I mean, look at
And
this guy. He looks
I
more
mean,
Hispanic to me.
what about James O'Hara?
Yeah,
I was
look at
just
that guy.
thinking
I
that.
What's
know,
he
Yeah.
doing up in there?
right? That's what
I'm
I said. I
sorry.
was like, who is
I'm
he?
sorry. I mean, it's not funny. It's
Well,
just that.
look at Thomas E. Miller too.
I mean, sometimes you have to laugh about, some things just to
Yeah,
make things light because,
yeah,
we've been lied to so much
yep,
about so many
exactly. Look at
things.
this guy,
Yeah.
Adam Clayton Powell.
Well, he
Excuse me.
looks like Disney. He looks like Disney.
He
Walt
does.
Disney.
And you know what else he reminds me of? That who was one of the old actors that always had that suntan? Oh my God.
Richard Chamberlain.
No, it wasn't Richard Chamberlain. Oh, this guy looked a lot like him. I can't even think of his name now, but it was funny. I saw
Wow.
him. Look at this guy.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
but hey, you get a lot of people that look like them
like,
down south,
Augustus.
like in
Look at,
Louisiana.
really? Seriously? Augustus?
Yeah. I mean, you take these guys off this page and put them in any other page, they could be, and now Shirley Chisholm, I'd like to do a video on her
Yeah, she was the
because
first
she looks pretty
African
interesting.
American woman. Yeah, first woman.
Yeah, she looks pretty interesting, her.
Yeah, but these these were pretty interesting.
But you
I
know,
was
there's a lot of people that look like them down in NOLA and
Charlie
New
Ring.
Orleans. NOLA, yeah. And so, you know, that could be, and it's like you used to have that one little drop back in the day. You have that one little drop.
Yep.
Mhm.
It just surprises me that some of them
Yeah.
are so were eager to be African American,
To get into
but then
office.
but then some of them were eager to pass as well. You would never know. You have people look just like that were passing for white.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. Well, we'll do a video on that
And that
sometime.
goes into a whole other video when you and I were diving into the northern
Yeah,
blacks, the southern black thing.
So,
yeah,
Remember, oh,
yeah.
mm,
Oh,
there's so
we
many
gotta.
rabbit holes we can go down with this one. It's
Whew.
crazy.
All
I
right.
one
So
other thing, last thing that I did find interesting was one of the first Democrats they showed here was in the early, look at that, 1935. I was like, how does someone so close to after the Civil War become a Democrat? He was like the first Democrat, Arthur W. Mitchell.
you have a picture of him?
Yeah, he's right. Oh, sorry. I thought I was sharing screen. Sorry. There
Share.
he is.
Arthur W. Mitchell. Okay. All right,
mm,
Arthur. Mm-hmm.
Looks fairly white to me too, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's just that one
mhm.
drop, that one drop. And
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because the thing is, it
Just
almost reminds
just
me.
to start turning them over to the Democratic Party, huh?
Mm,
Dun dun dun.
well, sometimes, yeah, they put them in there just for that. Sometimes they do that. And but it could also be that, you know, in the white category, they probably wouldn't have been as successful. But
Might not.
since the light skin and looking white was the in thing back in the day,
Yeah.
they got treated differently. So, you know,
Yeah. So I think that's pretty good for these guys for this poll. What do you girls think?
I
Mhm.
think so. I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you again, Lynn. Okay, there's so many things that I've learned in this last month in the Black History Month. And I know there's probably some of my people out there saying, well, you're Black, you should
Some
know
of
it.
our viewers, not just your people, but all of viewers, because this is still American history, you know?
Well, when I
True.
was in when I was in history in
Yep.
history classes in school, I was like, nah, 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 I don't hear
I
that
was the
stuff.
same way. I was the same way. Really, I owe my love of history really to Glenn Beck when I was watching him in early 2000s. And that's where I learned about these guys back then.
Mm. And well, I'm not American, so all of this is new to me and good to know.
We'll have to do some
We're gonna do some
Trinidadian
Trinidad stuff too.
And
Yeah.
history too.
Caribbean.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
Because you'll have a good mix down there.
Kyla's almost as old as her country after they got rid of the
Oh,
British rule.
true.
which is fairly young.
Yep.
Which,
So it'd be
well,
interesting to deep dive in your country
yeah,
too.
I can't wait to see things change down there. So that'll be good
Yep.
to look into.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Did y'all want to add anything else?
Thank you everybody for watching. Join us on our Facebook community and on Rumble. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And
And
leave us a
Mhm.
comment. If you have anything you'd like us to read on, please let us know.
Exactly. Watch out for the scammers because you know the new channels like ours, they're attacked just like the bigger
Yep.
channels. So
Yeah.
just make sure you watch out for that and put on your critical thinking cap. Put it
Mhm.
on. You need
Yep.
to start vetting things out for yourself.
Yeah. Stop trusting everybody
it.
to do your work for you. Do your own work.
Yes, and
Research.
sometimes you don't even have to draw conclusions right away. Just ask the questions, sit with some stuff, and then it starts to make sense eventually.
And don't pick the first 2 or 3 things that come up on your searches too. Go
Oh
back to
boy.
4 or 5
Yeah.
pages sometimes and don't use
Mhm.
Google. You know, there's so many other search engines, you know.
Yeah.
Do your
I
work.
still
Some
use
of what
Google.
we see is controlled, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I still use Google, but hey, I'm
Well,
learning,
I
you know.
use it for some things too, and then I just kind of test and see where things are coming. But some of these things I do go to page 2 or 3. I just kind of look, and then I'll
That's
keep
what I
going
do.
to other pages because
And
they tend to, because most people are so apt to just go to the first
and of
page.
course, this is Lynn always as she's searching with her pendulum to figure out what is good and
Yes,
what's
I
not.
do. I absolutely do. So get a pendulum, people. It'll help.
Get a pendulum and a magnifying glass. Thank
Get
you
the
all for watching us.
fingers
The
going.
Three
Bye,
of Pentacles. Thank you so much.
See you all
Bye-bye.
soon.